the interquartile range, you measure a spread and one for the median. Right, Mary says that the longest delay on Tuesday was 33 minutes. This means that there must be some delays between 25 minutes and 30 minutes. Now, I'm assuming she's correct about that, about it being 33 minutes, and she is. But does it mean that there were times in between here? Well, let's just think about that. Just because you waited a long time for your train, does that mean that there were trains where some people waited slightly less than you? Well, no. No, one train could be particularly late, and then all the rest could technically be on time or close to on time. So the answer is no. There is no link. There is could be an outlier. And you'll know this phrase, outlier or anomalous result from science. So there we go, 1 mark. Right, a lovely 1 mark question coming up here. 1 mark, always going to answer the marks. This says simplify, must be able to be simplified easily. So I'm looking at this and I'm looking for similarities, and I can see this is the same as this. But let's write it out in the correct way first to make it slightly longer. So this is 5 times x minus 1, x minus 1. So the bracket has been squared because the square is next to the bracket. So we're going to be cancelling here. And the thing you need to know, and I've shown you this most times when I've been cancelling before, is that turns into a 1 and this turns into a 1. So I've got one lot of nothing on the top, and I've got 5 times this bracket and times 1. Well, that is just one lot of 5 times the bracket. So there's my final answer. Just be very careful that if you cancel to put a 1 in. It's the only clue to that. Right, next question, 2 marks. So it feels like 2 steps. It says factorise fully. Well, that's normally factorise, but more than 1 step of factorising. So the first thing I'm going to do is there anything easy to factorise here? Well, you'll notice that these are both in the 2 times table, or are both even. So we're going to take out the 2, and we're going to put in 25, because 2 times 25 makes 50, minus y squared. So that was actually one of the marks, the process mark. That's clearly an accuracy mark, isn't it, there? Well, this inside, that's a square number, and this is also a square, and it's a takeaway. So it's the difference of 2 squares. And I know that the difference of 2 squares is you square root, it's going to be double brackets, and you square root both parts, so that's 5 and y. So I'm going to have 5 and y in both of them, and I'm going to have a plus and a minus, and that now is fully factorised. There's my second process mark, process number 2, because it's now all factorised. It's 3 things multiplied by each other. But 2 marks, 2 algebra marks means going to be fairly simple. And I could, if I had time, if you were just looking at certain questions to get all your marks, you might multiply this out and see if it comes back to this. So again, you can know you're fully correct. Same at this top one actually. You could times by x minus 1, try and times by x minus 1 on the top and bottom. Does it go back to the original? Algebra ones you can generally check. Okay, a wordy question. Right, Jack and Sadia work for a company that sells boxes of breakfast cereal. The company wants to have a special offer. Not very interested in this so far. There's nothing there that I really need to concentrate on. Here is Jack's idea for the special offer. Put 25% more cereal into each box and do not change the price. Sadia's idea, reduce the price and do not change the amount of cereal in each box. Sadia wants her idea to give the same value for money as Jack's idea. By what percentage does she need to reduce her price? So This feels like a fiddly kind of percentages question, but one that I can definitely get some marks on. So Jack put 25% more cereal in each box and does not change the price. Now the problem here is knowing how much cereal to go with and how much money to go with. So that's right. Let's say Jack's cereal costs £1 for 100 grams. That feels like nice easy numbers. They haven't given me numbers, so because I'm comparing like with like, whatever I choose should work. So he's going to put 25% more cereal into each box, but he's not going to change the price. So that's going to be plus 25 grams gives me 125 grams, £1 for 125 grams, and I could work out how much that is. How much that is for this cereal. It's basically a ratio, which I can simplify in a minute if I want to. So it's £1. It's actually a decimal that, so I'm going to put in a normal point there instead of this ratio there. So £1 for 125 grams. Sadie wants to reduce the price and not change the amount of cereal in each box. So I'm going to simplify, and I'm going to work towards Sadia's idea. I'm going to try and make this back to 100 grams. Well, we know with ratios you can only do, just like fractions, you can only times or divide to keep them in the same proportional relationship. So I'm going to divide by I'm going to divide by 5 here, so I can get it down to 25, and I get 20p for 25 grams. That feels the same, feels like the same relationship. And then I want to make it up. So Sadia said that she wanted to not change the amount in each cereal box, so we started with 100 grams. We can times this by 4 to get the same number of grams, so that gives us 80p.